Alright guys, welcome back to BCS France 2025. Today we're going to be doing day 2 in Premier. We're going to be hopping straight into the round 1 match between Ben and Indigo. I believe I've overheard Indigo being, I believe he's a local French player who, to my knowledge, has recently come back into the game. And I believe might be piloting Dark Regulars, which is, again, not. I know we've been seeing a lot of it, but it's actually not a clan you get to see all too often nowadays. So I'm actually fairly excited to see what he's able to cook up here. I think it'd be really, really cool to see. But yeah, this is going to be one of those like really interesting matchups because Ben is going to be piloting the sort of newly released, I suppose, Crescent Rose. So I'd be fairly interested to see how that matches up because again, it all depends on the DI deck that we're looking at, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of room for fluctuation, a lot of room for skill expression. I wonder if we're going to get to see. The Creeper does seem to imply this might be NLK, but we'll be able to see more as the game develops in just a few moments. Yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting choice. So it is looking to be NLK, but interestingly enough, opening the Creeper there might be one of the probably best openers you could have, maybe other than Edge, but Ben showing us that GS is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and does he hit it? Of course he does, the 86%. Yeah, so again, Indigo is going to be a bit on the clock here, but this might just be one of the games where Ben is able to kind of stabilize fairly early, but I think it all depends on what Indigo's got in his belt, because NLK is a deck where if you break, coming back from that becomes very, very difficult. So it'd be really interesting how Indigo and Ben both navigate this game state and see who comes out on top here. But Ben going second here does imply he's going to get a little bit more of a defensive option. He's going to get, you know, the Messiah Taker, he's going to get the Quick Shield. So he might have a little bit of room to try and breathe, but it all depends how much pressure Indigo lets him have. Yeah, at this point it's all pressure, 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 and what he can really manage. Ooh, again, seeing one of the cards that strikes fear into the hearts of Vanguard's premium players. We're going to be seeing a variance hard leg actually coming up here. Of course, a card saying when placed on rear guard, because Indigo is going to be able to call to rear later, it allows him to say if his soul has 3 or more copies with the same name for 3 or more copies of 3 different cards with the same name, he's able to basically force his opponent to call 3 or more from hand for the rest of the turn, which is super, super scary to deal with. Oh, let's try and get that reset. There we go. I don't know why it's been glitching out a bit recently, but hey, we don't make the rules. There you go, Ben showing us the Colombot, showing us the ship. Again, the classic Grand Blue opener. The funny thing as well is Crest decks have now been only about 2 Colombots, or at least some of the builds have been. So the interesting thing there is, oftentimes what would happen is people would know Grand Blue would be on 4 Colombots, damage deny them. And so what a lot of modern Grand Blue builds have done is effectively to go, hey, if you don't damage deny me, I can still see it. But if you do damage deny me, then, you know, no harm, no foul. It frees up 2 more spots in my deck, right? So getting to see all those Grand Blue players kind of just freeing up that little bit of deck space in a deck that's so toolboxy is actually super valuable. There we go, we're back. Camera just causing us a bit of technical difficulties. Hopefully this doesn't become a running theme today. Because, you know, yesterday worked so well, camera-wise, so let's hope this doesn't kick off today. But yeah, the thing with Grand Blue is, like, you can see Ben here is just keeping his board, but able to kind of filter all those pieces out. So on the turn where he does decide to go into double critical, not too bad though, because as much as Indigo would like to have them in his deck, he's always going to have access to 4 facts later in the game. So it's always not the end of the world. But I think the main thing for Grand Blue here is, like, being able to get those pieces out on the board to where Indigo can't really interact with them, so that on the turn that he does decide to push and commit, you know, for example, next time when he gets the History Stride, then the kind of getting to do is going to be where he gets to stabilize. Because he doesn't want to give NLK any damage on turn 3, because giving NLK damage is a recipe for disaster if he just has the nuts. He's going to say OT to pass, crit, all effects rare. You're not going to like to see it, but what he's going to be able to do here is, I believe, Soul Blast 1 and put 3 copies of Creeper into Soul from, was it deck or drop, I think? So yeah, probably choosing the Creeper here. Going 1. Going 2. And choosing the third one from the drop zone. So yeah, Indigo's in a really, really good position to be set up for next time, because for those of you who aren't aware, or maybe, you know, joined a bit more recently in Vanguard, Dimension Creeper, especially the old one, is one of the most defining cards of Dark Irregulars, because what it does, when it's in Soul, you can put it to drop zone, and you Soul Charge 2, so it kind of pluses 1 to Soul besides itself, but then the whole deck used to revolve around kind of Soul Blasting and putting it back to Soul, and Soul Blasting and putting it back to Soul, to build up your Soul to the point where it has all the tools you could possibly need to get ahead in the game. And yeah, there you go. Ooh. Missing the history right there. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Naira's is still able to manifest quite a bit with that. Yeah, going to be going against the Greed Shade here. Greed Shade going to ditch the 2 Tommies, going to mill 2. That's the Overtrigger getting out to hand. Unfortunate. Because yeah, that would have been 2 damage, but at this stage, Indigo is probably fairly happy with that, actually. I don't think Indigo wants to eat an Overtrigger, but at this time it would be probably the best thing he could do. But with a swing here. Swing, there you go. He's going to be guarding it, taking the last swing, and Ben's going to be healing as well, which is huge. Yeah, like going into Indigo's turn 3 on 0 C and 0 damage is probably one of the strongest positions Ben could be in right now, because NLK is a deck that's very capable of 0 to 6ing you, but it takes a little bit of luck, and I think Ben is trying to eliminate all of that luck out of this equation. You basically go, look, Indigo, you're going to have to be God's chosen player today in order to get ahead of me. 7. So, ooh, the top deck Assassin is crazy. Assassin, of course, being limited to 1, and you do need it for your extensions. As he says, in the Soul, at the beginning of your battle step, so because it's Darkness, it means he has to have a card go to Soul this turn, but of course the Soul Charm does proc it. It says if your Soul has 10 or more cards, you can call it to Rear Guard. Every attack, so it's whenever you would declare an attack, or could even, and this attack, this gets 5k, but if your Soul has 15 or more, it gets 10k. So it becomes either a 10 or 15k attacker, but the reason that's so valuable is that you're going to get all those creepers being spammed right now. A lot of triggers come out, which is unfortunate. That is brutal for Indigo here, but all that's going to be Forfax set up, and when I believe that might be 13 now, certainly damn near it. Oh, he's reading the new Ooh, interesting choice. So we used to obviously see old Baramagnus allowing us to kind of wipe your opponent's board, get a crit, draw a card, and call 2 cards out. That's the first time I've been seeing the new Baramagnus seeing play. So he gets 5k for every card on top of Barrow, which doesn't really matter here. But when it attacks, if you're 10 or more, you draw a card and gains a crit. 15 or more, you do the Soul effect with plus 10k. And if it's 20 or more, you triple door. But for that battle only, so it's like a mini hardening in case, I guess, if it was whiffed. Or in case you just didn't see it. That can always happen. Because if you call things like Hope on Dam, yeah, first check critical, second check. Nothing, unfortunately, for him, but Ben is going to go 1, and Ben's going to go 2, and that's no defensives. But with Ben's hand, he should ideally be fine, because, yeah, it's going to be passing turn here. Yeah, not being able to do all that much. So we'll see how much Indigo is able to really claw back like this. Yeah, going to discard the Tommy, going to stride straight into Big Obadiah, Big OBD. And so he's going to be able to set up his deck. He's going to be milling 5 old cards from his deck in order to deck, then compress, set up his toolbox, and then revive 2 cards. Because yeah, that's the thing with Grambler these days. Like, I'd imagine Grambler is probably just trying to set up a... Yeah, reference call Beatrice calls Nightstorm calls Skull Dragon. And you gotta, you just don't go the Skull Dragon, just keep looping them like that. That's always been a pretty dangerous